It does take us just a little bit more time. We need just a little bit more space right now. And that's okay because it's winter. It's winter. Enter in, go this way, slow down, take off the expectations of ourselves to be doing what we normally do and having the level of productivity we might normally have. We have to really let that go right now, don't we? And just be okay with being slow, being in a place maybe of the unknown, or just kind of just a pausing time. Yesterday, Jordan and I went to Idaho Falls, which felt like a really big trip to just go to Idaho Falls, and do two things. And we kept hitting all these stoplights. And I'm like, it's because we need to all just be doing this right now, like just stopping. And town was really quiet actually when we were there, and we took our time, but it was like I was wiped out after just driving to Idaho Falls yesterday. I'm like, oh my gosh. And that's okay. There's a level of acceptance of just coming into needing more space and time to recover from the simplest of tasks that might usually be no big deal, right? So just in your practice this morning, I invite you to just be really kind. I always want you to be kind. I especially want you to just be really kind to your body right now, honoring its edges or its limitations. And we're just going to do a really gentle unwinding of the joints and body class with a little restorative at the end. So let's just find our comfortable seat, whether your legs are crossed or maybe you're in a cobbler position with soles of the feet together, or your legs are stretched out and you feel support under the knees. Just really whatever is going to help you have a nice long spine as you sit. So sitting up on a prop will help with that. And then just finding breath this morning as you close your eyes and feel the pulsation of your breath moving through your body. It's drawing in fresh oxygen and energy into all the cells of your body when you breathe in. And then there's the letting go, the releasing out of the old energy of toxins when we exhale out. So the drawing in, the replenishing energy, and the exhale, we release out the old energy. We're going to place one hand on our forehead as we breathe. And we're going to place the other hand, one or two fingers, right into the sternal notch under the throat. There's a little hollow space right there. And as you continue to breathe with awareness of your belly breath, we're going to hold these points that bring harmony to our nervous system. Anytime we feel rattled, we feel scattered, we feel off, whatever it is, we just know we need some support. We can just put our hands right here. Breathe and allow blood flow to the frontal lobe of the brain so that we can think clearly again, so we can return to balance in the nervous system. And that way we can respond with clarity and with groundedness. Giving ourselves a chance to just pause before we respond. Let's take one more breath here. And then we'll release the hands and we'll shake them out toward the ground. And then we'll find our fingers arriving at the center tips of our collarbones. And we'll drop down an inch below into those hollows here of the upper chest. And let's begin to tap now here. And the breath is going to move out the mouth on the exhale. So we'll breathe in through the nose, exhale out the mouth. Moving energy. Coming into communication with our body this morning through the language of the body, which is pulsation. That's why when we tap on the body, we massage, we're really helping energy to flow freely as we reset all the systems of the body, kind of get ourselves back online. And then we'll come and tap all around the corners of the upper chest. It's like we're jump starting our battery this morning. Good. And now we'll come to the center of the sternum bone. And we're going to communicate to our immune system to keep developing more T cells to fight off any foreign invaders that aren't going to benefit our body, to protect our body, but to also educate these T cells not to attack our own body. So reversing that energy back out to just stopping any cold, flu, virus in its tracks as we tap here, deep breaths. Good. Now we'll come to the side seams of the low ribs. We'll continue to support our immune system by strengthening the energy of the spleen, meridian, another nurture of our immune system. Filters our blood, helps us to metabolize whatever's going on in our lives. Now we're going to come right under the breast to the low ribs here and tap around and clear that spleen channel of any physical or emotional toxins that are hanging out there. Good. Now we're going to come up to our cheekbones and do a little lighter tapping. Grounding our energy down into our legs, to our feet. Helping the body to be at 100% capacity to heal whatever you're working with in your body this morning, or mentally, or even emotionally. Good. Let's shake out the hands toward the ground and relax our hands on our thighs and spend just a few moments here in physical stillness. Still feeling the breath pulsing in and out of the belly. We'll continue to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth as we tap our hand to our thigh on the same side, marching with the arms. Now we're going to pause. We're going to break up that pattern by brushing off the hands and now taking the opposite hand to the opposite thigh and getting our energies crossing over. Waking up the brain. One more breath. And then slowly come to a pause. And let your hands rest a couple inches off of your skin right in front of the hips. And I invite you to tune in to your body and to set your intention for your practice this morning. What would you like to experience? Let that answer bubble up from your belly, your body's wisdom. And it could just be a word. So take that word or that phrase, whatever came to mind, and you're going to inhale your hands up the center line of the body as you repeat that word or phrase in your mind, and the arms sweep out to your sides on the exhale. This is our zip up practice where we're drawing in this strengthening and clearing energy and our own energy field. And then we send our intention into it so that we experience it in our life. It's what happens. Also setting this energetic force field of protection around our energy field. So love, connection, all the goodness of life can flow through it. But energy that's not going to benefit us, whether it's environmental toxins, it's other people's energy, it's viruses, whatever it is, we just can put this protection around us so we don't need to experience what's not needed in our own life. Also protects other people from our energy if we're in a toxic pattern. So it's not just everybody else, right? We all have our things. So let's just do this one more time, repeating our intention. Good. And now we'll seal it all up by placing one middle finger in the navel, one middle finger between the eyebrows. You're going to press in and pull up on these 2 points and take 3 more breaths. Good. You can release your hands, rub the palms together like you're warming your palms up, and then shake off the hands toward the ground. Come up onto your head. You're going to brush through your head. Inhaling, exhale, flick it off toward the ground 2 times with the hands. Good. Now, just like you've walked in from a snowy day and you got to brush off the snow off your body, go ahead and just brush off the whole body, just down the front of the body, the legs, the feet brush off, the back body, the buttocks, just brushing off. The shoulders, where we carry the weight of the world. Let's just brush it off, shake it out. Good. Okay, let's do a little bit of opening in our necks where we hold a lot of tension. So we're going to place the right hand on the floor on the fingertips like a little prop. Okay. And then we're going to reach our right ear straight up toward the ceiling. Breathing here into the sides of your neck. If it feels like you need to come out a little bit on the inhale and then slowly enter back in on the exhale, feel free to do that. Maybe your neck feels really sore, so you just want to ease your way. That is definitely an invitation this morning. Really ease your way into the body. Good. One more breath here, reaching up through the right ear. And then release. Come back to center and prop your left hand onto the mat. Inhale, reach the left ear up toward the sky, opening the left side of the neck. So the reach to the left ear helps us not to collapse in the right side of the neck. Good. And then slowly come back up to center. Let's take our hands onto our shoulders, with our elbows bent, and we're going to inhale and reach the elbows up toward the sky, and then exhale, slowly release them back and around here, moving with your breath. Feeling those shoulder blades draw down the back as the elbows draw back and down. And then release and shake out the hands. Now we're going to take our arms out to the sides. The left hand is going to come and rest on the low back with the palm side out. The right hand will come behind your head and take a hold of your left ear. You'll inhale and press your head into your hand, feeling your neck lengthen. And as you exhale, you're slowly turning your head toward your left shoulder. The hand is just here to support the head. Take a couple of breaths here, breathing into your low back. Good, and then we'll let the arms stretch out again. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, right hand to low back, left hand to right ear. On your next inhale, press your head into your hand, lengthen through the top of your head. Beautiful. Now exhale, slowly turn your head toward your right shoulder. Breathe into the low back, replenishing your kidneys and adrenal glands. Good, and then when you're ready, stretch the arms back out. Left hand to low back, right hand to left ear. Inhale, lengthen through the top of the head. Exhale, slowly turn the head toward the left shoulder. And inhale, stretch the arms back out. Exhale, right hand to low back, left hand to right ear. Inhale, press the head into the hand. And on the exhale, slowly turn the head to the right. Good. Inhale, stretch the arms back out. Exhale, release the arms down. Let's just take some gentle shoulder rolls up and back. Good. Let's do one more thing here, and that is taking our left hand onto the mat or a block. Taking the right arm up with the elbow bent and the wrist is flexed. So the hand's pressing up toward the sky like we're holding a tray. And we're going to slowly press up with some muscle energy as we simultaneously root the right sitting bone down. And then we'll let the elbow bend and the whole arm will relax. We'll inhale. Exhale, push, like you're pushing up on the ceiling. And then soften on the inhale, or just breathe however it works for you. Pushing and then rooting that right sitting bone down. And one more time, straight up toward the sky. Good. Now we'll slowly arch the arm over the head toward the left, keeping the right sitting bone down. And now turn your right lung and chest up toward the right arm. Breathing into those sticky spots so you can keep moving a little bit here, coming out, going back into the stretch. So we want to always ease back out to safety, to softening, and then we move back in with awareness and breath into those sticky spots. The tissue likes to come back to ease, and then it wants to go toward the discomfort to release the tension. Good. When you're ready, go ahead and come on out. We'll switch sides. Right hand resting on the floor or block. Left wrist is flexed. As you inhale, we can press up toward the sky, rooting down through the left sitting bone, and then soften again as the elbow bends. Really pushing up. So bring in some muscle energy, like you're pushing concrete up, back up into the ceiling. Your ceiling's falling apart. That's the only thing I can think of. You're putting it back up there. Ugh. And then you'll soften and relax when the elbow bends. Good. Now we'll arc over toward the right. Keep the left hip rooted. Turning the left lung and chest up toward the left arm. Gently unwinding here now in the side ribs. And when you're ready, go ahead and come back out and let's shake off the hands. All right, let's slide off of our seat. We're going to make our way onto our hands and knees. So if you do need extra knee support, place your blanket at the center of your mat. And when you come onto your hands and knees, we're going to walk the hands away from the body further with the hands spread wide. And the knees are going to just separate out a little bit wider. Tops of the feet come onto the mat, and then the big toes come toward each other. So child's pose legs. And we're just going to do some gentle pumping of fluid into the hips and knees. So as you inhale, you're going to shift your hips forward, release them toward the ground, and then draw your shoulders back. As you exhale, your hips will reach back toward your heels into child's pose. We're going to do breath and then movement. So the inhale begins and you rise back up, releasing the front hips, shoulder blades soften down the back. Exhale the hips back toward the heels. So this is all at your own pace. And there is an engagement of your core here. So the navel is in and up, supporting the low back, especially when you come forward. Really pressing into the earth with the hands as well as the toenails. So there's extra support for your knees and shoulders. The next time you're in child's pose, let's stay here. Rest your head on a block or the mat. And now let your arms totally relax. Hips are soft toward the heels. Head is heavy, surrendering into the mat. Now we'll slowly come up halfway and walk our arms toward the right and reach the left hip back toward the left heel. So we're coming in more of the side opening. The head can stay right in line with your arms. It doesn't need to rest anywhere. Breathing into the left side. Left hip, left low back. And then walk your arms over to the left diagonal. Reach the right hip back toward the right heel, any amount. Even if your hips are above your knees right now, just let it soften toward the right heel. Could be a half an inch. Then walk your arms back out onto the mat in front of you and slowly rise up onto all fours so the knees are directly under the hips. You can have your toenails pressing into the mat, or you can tuck your toes under if that's available. And we're going to stretch the right leg back with the toes on the mat. We're lifting our right thigh up toward the sky to straighten the right leg and then to extend out the right heel. So we're stretching into the calf, and then the spine is nice and long. So remember that reaching out through the crown of the head action you were doing with the neck stretches. Now with your navel engaged in and up, you're going to lift your right leg off of the mat and press your back foot into an imaginary wall so you can feel muscle energy in the right leg. Option to stay right here, breathe. Option to add the left arm, reaching forward and hugging in toward the left ear. Spinal balance pose. Lots of tone to the back and the core, and then lengthening out your limbs. And when you're ready to come on out, lower down. Stretch the left leg back with the toes on the earth. Good. The left thigh, the back of the left thigh is reaching up toward the sky to straighten the leg. And then reaching long through the spine, through the top of the head. Your navel moves in and up to activate your core, and then left leg lifts off the earth. Just straight out of the back hip, the left hip. Option to stay right here. You have the option to lift the right arm and reach it forward. Focus on the breath, moving through your torso. And when you're ready to come out, lower back down. We're going to take our right hip back toward the right heel, and then the left hip will come around toward the left heel, and then the chest will come forward. So we're doing hip circles here to the right to begin. Just moving with your breath. Moving gently toward an edge and then backing off of it. Then we'll pause up top and we'll switch directions with our hip circles. And then we'll come to a pause. We'll come to the tops of the feet again if we aren't already there. And we're going to stretch the hips back into child's pose And you can stack your hands and rest your forehead or use your block. Just letting the head really rest heavy into your hands. Soften the belly. Soften your hips. This pose of surrender. And 2 more breaths here. And then slowly rise back up. And we're going to make our way onto our stomach. So you can leave your blanket there if you'd like some support under your pelvis. And once you come onto your belly, you're going to stretch one leg out at a time. So lift your left leg up, point the toes, reach it long, place your toenails on the floor. Do the same thing with the other side. So the legs are directly straight back out of your hips. And then your toenails are pressing down into your mat. Your inner heels are hugging toward each other. So the ankles aren't collapsed right now. They're set up well. And then we're going to rest our forehead on the mat and place our hands directly under our shoulders on the mat. So our elbows are straight back. And we're setting up for Bujangasana, Cobra Pose, which is a gentle heart opener, back bend shape that strengthens the back body while it's opening the front body. And so first, you're going to move your front shoulders away from the mat and feel your upper back tone. And then on your next inhale, you're going to press into the toes, lift your kneecaps up off the floor and feel tone up your legs. Good. Now on the next inhale, you're going to lift your head and chest a few inches off the ground. All the weight is in your legs. It's not in your hands right now. And in your back, the back is lifting the chest. It doesn't have to go far off the mat. The spine is nice and long out of your hips. So the low back isn't feeling crunched right now. It's feeling very spacious. And then breath is moving into your low back. But on your next exhale, release. Stack your hands on top of each other right in front of your forehead. Now rest your forehead on your hands and relax your whole body. And now gently rock your hips and legs side to side, releasing tension in the body. And then come into stillness and relax for a few moments. Okay, we're going to do that one more time, and we're going to explore perhaps bringing the Cobra up a little higher, and maybe not. But we'll start with the toenails actively pressing down into the mat. Our inner heels are hugged toward each other, and we can feel muscle energy draw up the legs. And so we're going to place our hands. Make sure your hands are directly under your shoulders on the mat, and your elbows are straight back. Good. Your shoulders move away from the mat first, and you can feel that tone in the upper back. As you inhale, you're going to let the chest and the head rise up off of the mat. Maybe they rise up another inch or so than they did the first time. First of all, there's no weight in the arms. The back is strong. The spine is long. You might be able to come up a little higher as the front pelvis presses down into the mat. The spine is long and the breath is moving into your low back. One more breath. And then slowly relax. Stack your hands, rest your forehead there, relax your body. And gently rock it side to side now. And then find stillness for a few moments. Totally soften your body into the ground. Okay, we're going to tuck our toes under if that's available. If not, keep your toenails on the ground. Hands come underneath the shoulders again. And we're going to slowly press ourselves up to all fours. You could also choose to continue stretching the hips back toward the feet, child's pose. And then we're going to transition onto our backs. And so let's take our blanket and we'll fold it and have it as a head and neck support at one end of the mat. And then I'm going to have you bring a block nearby you and a strap. And then we're going to lie onto our backs with our legs first stretched out. And we're going to take the arms up overhead, come into a full body stretch, and we're going to point the toes and then flex the toes and the ankles. So we're just doing gentle flexion and extension in the ankle joints, breathing. Now we're going to point the toes and rotate the ankles in one direction. And then we'll pause. And then we'll slowly switch directions. Go into your ankles and move the ankles from the ankles. Don't just let your body be a robot, but go in and have this mind-body connection where you are fully present with this movement right now. You're in your body, being present. Good. Then we'll pause. And then let's take one more full body stretch. We'll point the toes and we'll stretch the fingers away from the toes. We'll feel all our muscles tense. And then we're going to exhale and totally relax every muscle and bone. Now we're going to do that again. We'll take a full body stretch, pointing the toes, reaching the hands. We're tensing all our muscles. And now we're going to exhale, totally relax the whole body. One more time, point the toes, reach the fingers away from the body, tense all the muscles. And exhale, totally relax. Good. Let your arms come down to your sides. Draw your right knee in toward your chest and place your hands behind your right thigh. And let's first begin by drawing the right knee toward the right bicep. So we're a little bit wider than the chest. And your left leg that's on the ground is rooted. So the heel is pressing down, the toes are up toward the sky. We're breathing here into the right hip. And then as you inhale, you're going to straighten the right leg and point out your toes. And as you exhale, you'll draw your knee back toward that right shoulder. You're moving with your breath. You're in your right hip right now. You move the thigh back to straighten the leg and to point out the toes. Exhale, draw the knee toward the right shoulder. Pumping your right hip with synovial fluid so that it moves with ease. Good. Now, when your right knee bends again, pause here and place your right hand on the outside of your right knee. So you're holding the knee. Flex your right ankle and anchor your left arm onto the ground. As you inhale, you're going to open your right hip and knee toward the ground while keeping your left hip on the mat. As you exhale, the knee comes back up to center. Inhale, opening the right hip and knee toward the ground. The left hip is stable on the mat. Exhale, the knee back up to center. 2 more rounds with your breath. Good. Now we're going to switch hands on the knee and anchor the right arm onto the ground. The left leg is relaxed now. Slowly guide your right knee to the left and toward the floor, and we'll come into this low belly twist and outer hip stretch. The right shoulder blade is planted. Now you have the option to place the left fingers behind the right knee crease and press in there. You also have the option to straighten the right leg as you press out the right foot as if you're pressing it into a wall. And you also have the option to slowly turn your head to the right, bringing your ear to the mat. So remember, options are options. You don't have to take them. You don't have to do them. Just focus on what feels right and good in your body. Ease toward your edges of discomfort, and then take a break. And then ease your way back in. And let your head come back to center. Bend the right knee, bring it back up above the right hip. And now straighten the right leg, point the toes, and slowly release the leg to the earth. And now relax the whole body. Do you notice a difference between the right side of your hip and leg compared to your left side, left leg and hip? Now we'll balance that out, drawing the left knee in toward the chest, hands come behind the left thigh. Let's first draw the left knee toward the left shoulder and breathe into our belly. Did you know that you can smile while you're practicing? Try it on if you're not already. Just bring a little smile in, breathe. Breathing that goodness into your body. Now the right leg is rooted, so the right heel is pressing down, the toes are pointing up. And as you inhale, your thigh moves away from the chest so you can straighten the leg and point out your toes. And then as you exhale, the knee comes back toward the left shoulder. Move with your breath. Are you present right now with your left hip and leg? Noticing sensation. Good. Now bend the left knee and place the left hand on the outside of the knee, holding it. Flex your left ankle and place your right arm out to the side on the floor. On your next inhale, slowly open your left hip and knee toward the ground while keeping your right hip on the mat. Exhale your knee back up to center. Move with your breath. Inhale to open. Exhale to close. Good. Now pause up top and switch hands on the knee, left arm on the floor. Relax your right leg. Inhale into your belly. Exhale, guide your knee to the right. So it's crossing your body toward the floor and the left shoulder blade is planted. Your right fingers can come behind the left knee crease and you can press in here. And then maybe straighten this left leg as if you're pressing your foot into a wall. Option to bring the left ear toward the mat. If it begins to be too much, you back off. Come back to safety, and then you ease your way back in toward your edges with breath and kindness, edging toward those places of discomfort. So we're not avoiding them. They need breath, they need fluid, they need energy, they need movement. We can do it gently and in its own time. But we don't want to avoid the discomfort because there's a lesson there, there's a message. Good. Let's bend the left knee, draw it back up above the left hip. Straighten the leg, point the toes, and slowly lower the leg all the way to the mat, and then relax your body completely. Okay, we're going to bend our knees and place our feet hip distance apart and find our block. And let's all start with the block at the lowest height. And we're going to lift the hips up and place the block horizontally right under the back of the sacrum at the back of the pelvis. We're going to tuck our shoulder blades underneath the upper back and place our arms to our sides with our palms down, so right by the body. We're going to do a little bit here of core work. And so I invite you to bring your awareness to your low ribs. And you're going to knit those low ribs to your hip bones so you can feel the core activate. Yes? You feel that? Nobody feels that? We all feel it? Bueller? Bueller? Okay, so we're all feeling that activation. And you're going to keep that. So knit low ribs to hip bones, okay? Now we're going to draw the knees up above our hips into reverse tabletop. So our shins are parallel to the floor and our feet are flexed. As we inhale, we're going to dip the right heel toward the mat without touching the mat. On the exhale, using the core, we draw the knee back up to center. Second side, inhale, dip the left heel slowly down toward the floor. Do not touch your mat. Exhale the knee back up to center. We'll do a total of 5 on each side, and you're moving from your core, from your center. So very slow. That will get you more benefits than moving fast. Relax the neck, the front of the neck. We take a lot of tone there. We don't need to. We're soft there. Make the core and the back do the work. When you've done your 5 on both sides, let's pause up top. We're going to soften the knees toward the chest. Just take a break for a moment. You can always bring the feet back to the mat and rest there. Okay, now we'll set back up for reverse tabletop, just where we were. Now we'll draw the low ribs to the hip bones, and we'll inhale and open the right hip and knee toward the ground like we were just doing on the floor. And then we'll exhale the knee back to center using the core to do these movements. You'll go to the second side. And again, we're just doing a total of 5. That means you don't have to do 5. Just heading toward that number on both sides. Press the hands into the mat for some extra support. When you've done your 5, come back up. Place one foot at a time back onto the mat and totally relax your front belly and hips as you soften the hips into the block. Totally resting here for a few more breaths. Again, we'll come back up into reverse tabletop, but this time we're going to point the toes. You're going to draw your right knee or bend your right knee in toward the chest as you straighten your left leg out, pointing the toes. Your leg is no lower than 45-degree angle from the floor to the ceiling. And then you'll inhale and you'll switch. Bend the left knee, extend out the right toes on the exhale. Inhale, switch, bend the right knee, straighten out the left toes. Moving with your breath, low ribs knitted to your hip bones. Inhale to switch. Exhale to really move from the core out that straight leg and out the toes. When you feel even and complete, let's draw the knees toward the chest. They'll be wide and loose, more toward the arms. Just relax in the belly, front hips. Can even do a gentle rock on the block from side to side, just not falling off. Okay, good. Let's place one foot at a time back onto the mat, hip distance apart. Relax the hips into your block. Relax the belly. So we're going to slowly transition into supported shoulder stand. You won't be doing this next pose this morning if you're menstruating or you have neck things you're working with. Otherwise, you're going to stay right here. You could also remove the block and place your hips level on the ground. If you're going to be going into supported shoulder stand with me, you can keep your block right here. A couple of you might be able to take the block to the second height level. So lifting the hips and moving the block to that next level where it's more on its side. Retuck your shoulder blades underneath the upper back if they got kind of untucked. And then we're going to draw the knees up above the hips and we're going to straighten the legs toward the sky. You can have a soft bend in the knees if you need that for your legs and low back. There is a little bit of core activation here to hold our legs up and together, but the rest of the body is soft and the hips are softening into your block. So this is a great way to move blood fluid, circulation, energy. The feet and the ankles don't get a lot of blood flow, so this is a great way to flush them, to flush the legs, the hips, the liver, and all the hormone glands of the body. So just receive this nourishment. This is considered the mother pose in yoga. It's a nourisher. Just allow that nourishment to wash over you. The feet, you'll start to probably feel heat or tingling. If it becomes too much, simply bend the knees more. You can also take a break, drawing the knees into the chest and then going back in. We're going to be here another minute or two. Let's enjoy 3 more breaths here. And we're going to slowly bend the knees. Take a couple of breaths just with the knees bent. They can soften toward the chest. We're going to move slowly out of this, as you can feel fluids need to move back down now to the legs and feet. So now we're going to place one foot at a time onto the mat. Relax here for a few breaths in supported bridge pose. Keep releasing your hips into the block. The great pose that dispels and releases fear and anxiety we might be holding in the body, and specifically in the hips. That's where it can kind of get extra stuck. And then we'll press into the feet. We'll lift the hips up. We'll remove our block and set it to the side. Good. Let's walk our feet to the wide edges of the mat. And the arms are going to stretch out to the sides on the floor. Flex your feet. So root the heels down, pick the toes off the mat, take a deep breath in. Exhale, release your knees to the right for windshield wiper stretch. You have the option to place your right heel onto your left thigh. One more breath. And then release your foot and float the knees back up and let them fall to your left. You have the option to place your left heel onto the right thigh. Breathe into those sticky places. If it's too much, you back off and then slowly ease your way back in. And release your foot. Float the knees back up and then roll to either side into fetal pose, relaxing your front belly toward the ground. And then slowly press yourself up just enough so that you can find your bolster and your block. And you're going to place your block at that low level height at the end of the bolster underneath it. So it's propping up that end. The bolster's at an incline. And then we'll take our blanket and we're going to unfold it wide. And we're going to roll it tightly. And you're going to come and sit right in front of your bolster with the soles of your feet together. Knees are apart. And you're going to place your blanket roll over your ankles and under the thighs. So your bolster's behind you. It's the long ways behind you. It's resting on a block at the end. Good. Marilyn, if you want to keep your ankles propped up, feel free if that feels better for you. And then we're going to lie back. Yay. Yay. Here we are. If you do have an eye pillow, this is lovely to place that now on your eyes. And if anyone in the room would like an eye pillow and you don't have one, you can raise your hand. Okay, Franny. Oh, I'm going to grab it for you. No, you don't need to get up. There you go. There's Miss Independent getting hers. All right, all right. Make sure you're warm enough. Anyone in the room, if you need an extra blanket, raise your hand. Getting warm and cozy. The props are fully supporting you. So you can just melt and surrender into your props. Closing the eyes, complete rest here. Keep letting go in the back and the hips. Even your jaw is softening. All the muscles of your neck relaxing. Draw your awareness to your breath. Feel it filling you up on your inhale. Softening and emptying you out on your exhale. Long, slow breaths. Trickling in, trickling out. You have the option to stay with your hips in cobbler position. You also have the option to slowly draw the knees up and straighten the legs one at a time out, and continue relaxing here for a few more moments. Feel your breath opening you up on your inhale. Feel your breath emptying you out on your exhale. Begin to wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. When you feel ready, that's the key. You might not ever feel ready. That's okay too. You're going to slowly stretch the arms overhead and point your toes. Come into a full body stretch again, fully reawakening. Now, if you're still on your bolster, you're just going to mindfully roll off of your bolster and onto your side into fetal pose. So the knees come in toward the chest. Your front body is soft toward the ground so the belly organs can reorient themselves, bathing in their own fluids. Slowly gather yourself back up into a comfortable seated position. And we'll close by placing our left hand over the center of the chest, right over the heart, followed by the right hand. And it's taking a couple moments here to offer love and gratitude toward yourself, toward the divine, toward all the love and the beauty and the support that are present in your life. Thanks for taking this time for yourself this morning and practicing with me. Namaste.